Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're turning the everyday frustration of induction cooking into a, frankly, fascinating engineering mystery. If you've recently upgraded your kitchen, you already know induction is incredibly fast, super efficient, and really sleek. But unlike a traditional gas flame or an old electric coil, an induction surface can sometimes feel like it has a mind of its own. So we're going to peel back that glass top and figure out exactly how these modern marvels actually think.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're staring at a cold pan, an error code is flashing on the control panel, and you're just wondering where the magic of induction went wrong. You turn the dial all the way to high, the pan is sitting right there, but absolutely nothing is happening. It's an incredibly common scenario. And to solve it, we really need to understand the fundamental physics at play right beneath that smooth black glass.
Okay, so let's dive into this by establishing the golden rule of induction. It relies entirely on magnetic fields, and that means it only heats ferromagnetic materials. Because of this, there's a pretty stark divide in cookware. The heavy hitters like cast iron, carbon steel, and enameled cast iron, they work beautifully. But on the flip side, pure aluminum, solid copper, glass, and even really high-end 1810 stainless steel won't draw a single watt of heat. The cooktop essentially just looks right through them, almost like they aren't even there.
Section 1. The Induction Cookware Mystery.
Now, even if you have the right materials, how you actually use them makes a world of difference. Take cast iron, for example. It is legendary for induction. But even with perfect materials like Lodge cast iron, you absolutely need to heat them slowly. See, induction transfers energy so efficiently that if you just blast a cold iron skillet on high, that sudden temperature imbalance can cause a thermal shock. It can literally crack the pan right on your stovetop, so always preheat slowly with oil. Oh, and a quick pro tip for glass tops, pick up your heavy pans to move them. Don't slide them. You definitely want to keep that glass looking pristine.
Section 2. The Ultimate Magnet Test.
So how do you know if your favorite pan will actually work before you risk getting that dreaded error code? You don't need a degree in metallurgy for this. Honestly, this 5-second, 4-step magnet test is the single most reliable way to verify compatibility, no matter what the cookware label claims. Just grab a standard fridge magnet, flip your dry pan over, and press it firmly right against the center of the base. If it sticks hard, you're golden. But if it slides right off or just has a super weak grip, well, you're gonna have a really frustrating time trying to make dinner.
If you're out shopping for new gear, you can also keep an eye out for this universal symbol. It looks like a horizontal coil pattern, and it's stamped on the bottom of a lot of compatible pots and pans. It's essentially the manufacturer's guarantee that the base has those necessary ferromagnetic properties. But keep in mind, a lot of older, perfectly good cast iron won't actually have this stamp, which is exactly why that trusty magnet test is your absolute best friend.
Section 3. Inside the cooktop brain. To really understand how the stove actually knows a pan is there in the first place, we have to look at something called pulse pan detection. This is a brilliant engineering concept, and it perfectly explains those mysterious clicking or ticking noises you might hear when you first turn the stove on. Your cooktop is essentially asking if a pan is there. It does this by sending out these really short electrical pulses and then waiting to see exactly how the magnetic field reacts.
And you really don't need to be an electrical engineer to appreciate the circuitry that makes this happen. Deep inside the board, there's an L2 coil and a C3 capacitor. Together, they form what's called a damped oscillator. But the real star of the show here is the microcontroller. It's a chip, like the HT45R38, that monitors this entire circuit. It acts kind of like a traffic cop, constantly reading the signals to determine if a pan is actually absorbing the energy.
And the way this chip makes its decision is actually highly visual if you map it out. When there's no pan, the electrical pulse just bounces back and forth, creating a really long oscillation wave. The microcontroller counts these bounces, often up to 60 pulses. But when a heavy magnetic pan is placed there, it absorbs that energy almost immediately. The damping time drops to practically zero, generating maybe only 17 pulses. The computer sees that sudden, sharp drop in the waveform and essentially says, "Aha, a pan is here, let's start heating."
And this logic is incredibly strict. While you're cooking, the microcontroller checks for a pan every 2 seconds. So if you lift the pan to, say, flip a pancake, the system instantly registers a no pan reading. If it registers no pan for 10 continuous checks, which is exactly 20 seconds, it just automatically terminates the heating process entirely. It's a built-in safety feature.
Section 4. Why cooktops switch off mid-cook. So, zooming back out to the kitchen, this pulse timing logic and those safety sensors explain exactly why your stove might just shut off unexpectedly right in the middle of preparing a meal. Most of these shutoffs are actually protective safety features working exactly as they were designed to. For instance, if you're boiling water on multiple burners at once, the power management system might actually throttle one zone down just to keep the total output under the appliance's safe 7.5 kilowatt limit. Or, if the ventilation slots tucked under your cabinet are blocked, thermal sensors will jump in and shut the electronics down to save themselves from frying. And sometimes, it's as simple as condensation dripping onto the touch-sensitive control panel. The stove literally gets tricked into thinking a finger, just press the off button.
But the absolute crucial point here is that even a perfectly magnetic, perfectly flat pan won't be detected if it's just too small. You generally need a minimum base diameter of about 12 to 14 centimeters. If the pan is too tiny, or if it's pushed too far off center, it simply doesn't cover enough of that copper coil to dampen those electrical pulses we just looked at. So the microcontroller thinks the stove is completely empty, and it flat out refuses to turn on.
Section 5. Troubleshooting and DIY repairs.
Okay, but what happens when you've checked your pans, you've checked your power, and the stove's brain actually malfunctions? Let's look at a fascinating real-world example from a Reddit user. One of their burners threw an error code saying no pan detected, yet it was slowly heating the water anyway. I mean, how is that even possible? Well, remember those tiny electrical pulses the stove sends out to check for a pan? A component failure on the board caused the stove to just continuously fire those pulse detection pings. The rapid-fire diagnostic checks themselves were transferring just enough energy to slowly warm the water, even though the system thought it was broken. It's kind of like a ghost in the machine.
Sometimes, though, the fix is purely physical. If you ever need to replace a faulty thermal sensor yourself, and by the way, that's a really common culprit for random shutoffs, the process is surprisingly manageable. You just follow these precise steps. You unscrew the plate, carefully unplug the old wire, and twist the new sensor into place. But the absolute most critical step is the very last one. You have to be incredibly careful to apply thermal paste between the sensor and the glass before you close the cooktop. Without that paste, the sensor simply can't accurately read the glass temperature, and you'll be right back to getting those annoying error codes.
So, are you ready to view your kitchen appliances not just as cooking tools, but as complex computers? The next time you make dinner, just remember the incredible digital pulses, the damped oscillations, and the precise safety checks happening 60 times a second right under your skillet. Your induction hob isn't just a stove. It's a dedicated microcontroller executing complex logic to cook your food perfectly and safely. I really hope this explainer has illuminated the mystery of induction for you. So take these tips, grab a magnet, and go master your kitchen's most advanced computer.